Hey everybody, let me turn that music down. My goodness. Welcome to my channel. I'm Dave from Chase the Summit, and today I had a plan, okay? The Coros Pace was just announced if you're watching the Coros channel during their live event. Pretty cool, you should check that out if you haven't. I was supposed to have a Pace in my hands today, and I'm still supposed to, which is why I've been delaying this live stream. So I had my FedEx out for delivery notification this morning. The watch was supposed to be here by 1. And so I scheduled my live stream for 2 o'clock, and guess what? No watch showed up. So it's still out for delivery. Hopefully during this video, we will hear a knock at the door and I can go grab it, and I'll literally get it from my front deck and unopen it right here. But right now I don't have the watch yet. What I do have is the new firmware to the new watch. So we can at least talk about that in the meantime. So yeah, let's get into that. So Coros, if you missed it, whoa, there we go. So if you missed it, the Coros Pace was just announced. It's $200. It's got a whole bunch of features, and early reviews are saying that it's got really good GPS performance, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think you guys should be pretty excited about it in regards to this kind of price point. $200 gets you a whole lot. I think they're going to sell quite a few of these. So here you see the Coros Pace webpage. This is what it looks like here. Comes in white and black, or I think it's blue. I think that's the one I'm getting. We'll find out in the next half an hour. I am hopeful that this is going to show up and while this live stream's going on, and that'll really make this a magical moment. So yeah, they're selling these for $200. They're 29 grams, which is insanely light. They've got incredible battery life, still 30 hours of GPS on battery life and 20 days of standby time. So they've got really something special on their hands. So let's sidebar the Pace 2 for a second here and go over to the Apex Pro that I have and talk about the new firmware. So I've got the new firmware installed on my Apex Pro here. This is the beta firmware, so it's not the full production firmware yet. But what they added is having power wrist-based without a sensor on your watch, right on your wrist, without having an additional sensor. And the only other company doing this right now was Polar previously, and Polar kind of had this market cornered. They did this with the Grit X and the Polar Vantage V and M. But now Coros has entered the arena, and they're doing it right on the wrist on the Apex Pro, Vertix, and also on the original Pace in some capacity, but not the full power that you get with all the other stuff, because it was a hardware limitation. That's one thing I really like about Coros, is that they are releasing firmware updates to all of their devices based on their hardware. So if the hardware can't support it, they don't release it, obviously. But if it can support it, they're going to roll this out to all the older watches, which is really cool of them. So I've had the beta firmware for about a week now, and I've been on a few runs with it I'm sorry, I'll answer your questions. I keep reading questions. I'm getting distracted. So I've been on a few runs with the new firmware with the onboard power, and also with the Stryd Pod for comparison. And I can show you some data from that. It's pretty solid, actually. So let's go over here to my run this is from yesterday, I think. So what you see here is the Polar Grit X in orange. You've got the Coros Apex Pro in blue, and then the Stryd Pod in red. So the Stryd Pod's kind of the gold standard here, right? Like, it's on your shoe. It's got a whole bunch of sensors and wind sensors, and it's really incredible. I still have to review that. But now we've got the two watches trying to get all of that data just from your wrist. And as you can see, the Coros Apex Pro with the new firmware is pretty close. I mean, it's a little bit wavy, and I have a theory as to why it's kind of going up and down. During this run, it was like a thunderstorm, basically. I got caught in a downpour, it was lightning, and I think the barometer was kind of spiking and dropping during this time, and that's what might have been causing this. I have another run we can look at that doesn't have all of this, but here's the bigger picture. So again, orange is Polar, blue is Coros, and red is the Stryd foot pod. And even in areas where, you know, I stopped running for a second, I think I was hiding under a tree during a downpour here. You can see that the Coros really drops down there and then comes back up. It is a little bit wavy, but generally it looks, I mean, decent for not having a sensor. And what I really like about this is previously the Coros devices could sense power if you had the Coros pod on your shorts or whatever, but that was like wildly inaccurate for me for whatever reason. And it also didn't pick up walking power. So if you just started walking, it would say 0 watts, which is inaccurate because walking is still power, not a lot of power, but it's still power, right? So in this firmware update, they're picking up walking, running. You could side shuffle or skip. I'm sure it would pick all of that up. So pretty solid there. Like I said, though, it is a little bit erroneous. Like there's some waves in there that I don't love, but overall pretty good. Now let's talk about the other upgrade they added in the firmware. That is Stryd support. So this is something I've been asking for Coros for a very long time. I really like the Stryd Pod, and I liked using it with my Garmin because Garmin has the Connect IQ store, and they have the Stryd app that you can install on your Fenix 6 or your 945 or whatever, and use your Stryd Pod with the watch, and it embeds the data into the fit file, which is really great. Now you get that kind of support. Whoa, switching cameras. Now you get that kind of support from Coros. And not only that, it's actually better. So Coros is offering full native Stryd support now, which means you're going to get all of the metrics from the Stryd, not just power. You're going to get the, you know, the spring stiffness and the air, the power from the air sensor and all that stuff, which is not just power. It's a whole bunch of metrics. And I'll show you how that works. Let's do that. So if we look at the Apex Pro here and I go into my settings, see if you guys can see that, right? I didn't set up my lights great. So you go to accessories, right? You go to your add Ant Plus, make sure my Stryd's on. Let me shake that up in the background here. So should pick it up. Hopefully, don't make me look bad live. Watch. Yeah, this is good content, right, guys? Okay, so Stryd is picked up here, and then when I click into it, it says, enter your critical power to display power zones. Now I can say, okay. It's going to ask me what my critical power is. I'll just say it's 240 watts. You get that data from the Stryd power, the power center, not from anything to do with Coros. This is the metric from the power center. And then you go down, and you see your added list there. So it says Stryd is available and ready. And now when you go into a run, oh, it's asking me to start a training plan. That's another part of this beta firmware that we'll talk about in a little bit. So now when we go into a run and we scroll down, you see, there you go, running power. And so I've got running power and average power. Those are data fields I selected. And this will also give you your power zones, which I haven't gotten to work yet. I think that might be part of the official firmware, but pretty awesome stuff. And this is all built into the watch now. You don't have to worry about downloading anything extra. It's part of the watch. It works with Stryd. Super simple, really awesome. Big fan. So let's talk about another firmware upgrade that has to do with the phone as well. Let's see how this works. I'm gonna try to live stream my screen capture. So I hope I don't get any embarrassing text messages. There we go. So let's go to the Coros app here. Boom. All right. So when we scroll down, we're gonna go ahead and go over to the device page, and now you've got a new selection here for training plan. We have my training before, and that was for strength training. I've got a whole video about strength training. You can go back and check that out. Now we've got a training plan specifically designed for endurance training, like running or cycling, I think swimming as well. So you can go in and see. So I've got my training plans here, and I just made this one the other day to test it out. Today's day 2. I haven't done my 5-mile run yet, but I'll do that right after this video. So we've got this new interface. It's a whole new interface. You've got a way to basically a calendar view of a workout, a training plan. And so if you're working towards I'm trying to figure out how I can put another one in there. I don't want to exit. Oh yeah, there we go. Exit. Sorry, it thought I was in a training plan right now and I want to make a new one. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add a new training plan. Here we go, create plan. And now we've got a calendar view of week 1 through 4, and it keeps going. You can do up to how many weeks? It looks infinite. We're up to 50, 60 weeks. If you're training for a year for a race, that's going to be one heck of a race. So yeah, we're going to say add workout here, and then you can actually choose from recently added workouts, or you can custom tailor it. So I can say I want to do a 5-mile run on Monday, and I want its intensity to be set by power, which is awesome. And so now I can choose what range of power I want to stay within for this run. So if you want to do like a low intensity run or a really super hard run, you could pick, I want to be like up in, 400 to 500 watts, which is a pretty hard workout. Let's say, 350. Yeah, there you go. And so now I can say add, and it'll add it to my workout. It can be a run. So pretty awesome stuff. They've really thought outside the box on this one, because Garmin does have a similar system, but it's not like quite as easy as this. I feel like this is just really easy to do. And then once you have recents, you can go in and just click, okay, Friday, I want to do a 10-mile run or 20-mile run. And then you can do this for the whole month. Now, once you save this, make sure you guys can still see this. So I'll start this today. And now I want to send it to my Apex Pro. It'll sync with the Apex Pro. That's going to take a second. There we go. It's on there. Now let's jump over to the watch. Let me hide my screen. And now when you go over to the watch, you can jump in, go down to training plans. Where are they? There we go. Sorry, this is kind of hard to see. I got to get better lighting for this situation. There we go. That's a little bit better. So, training plan, click, and then I've got my new training plan. So you can see there's a whole calendar view here, which is really nice. And then if you click again, it gives you your runs for the week, like for the whole plan. So you can scroll through them and get an idea of what's in store for the coming days. Really cool stuff. I'm a big fan of that, and I know I'm going to use it. Honestly, I'm a day-to-day Garmin user, but like these upgrades are pretty compelling. There's a lot of stuff that Coros still doesn't do that Garmin does, but these upgrades are like, they're designed for endurance runners or ultra runners or trail runners. They're really targeted towards the right crowd, in my opinion. Whereas sometimes Garmin adds things that may or may not be useful for everybody. So that's just kind of my quick overview. That's just kind of my quick overview on the new firmware update. As far as other things that got added, I'm not really sure what else they did. That's all I really care about. So yeah, cool stuff. And so I don't know if my watch has arrived yet. Let me check. If it's out there, guys, this would be amazing. I have a feeling they're going to make a fool out of me. I got 65 people watching, and sorry, I don't have the watch yet. All right, you know what we'll do? Let's go ahead and run through some of the comments, and we'll get a feel for what's going on with you guys. Okay. Big Bang. Hi, I'm from Paris. Hey, how's it going? Okay. Let's see. Can you guys hear my dog crying in the background, by the way? He's outside my door, like really upset that he can't get in. He's out there looking for the FedEx guy for me. Jump to conclusion. Better or worse than the Garmin 945 or Fenix 6 Pro? Are we talking about the Pace 2 here? You know what? It depends what you do. If you're if you're an ultra runner, somebody who doesn't need mapping, I think maybe the Pace 2 might be better for you. Personally, like, the navigation features are still a big thing to me, and the Pace 2 has zero navigation. There's nothing. You can't load a GPX course on it. You can't follow a course. It doesn't tell you if you're off course. That stuff just doesn't exist on the Pace 2, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of up for debate. The Garmin's do like a lot more than the Pace 2, but the Pace 2 is $200. You got to keep that in mind. A Fenix 6 is $850 if you get the Sapphire model. Let's look at some more questions. Scared to pull the trigger on the Apex since I'm sure a new one will be out next year. So the Apex Pro came out, what was that, last year? So this is relatively new still. And the thing you got to keep in mind with Coros is they update their old hardware. So if there's new features like we just saw today, they roll it back to all the older stuff. It's not just for the new stuff. And I love that about their style, their company. It's a good motto to have. And I think if they build that relationship with their users, people will come to expect that, and hopefully they continue to do it down the line. Now you got to consider there are hardware limitations that they have to abide by, where if they have a new sensor on a watch, then obviously that can't roll back. But I think the Apex is still a pretty safe buy right now. It's a really fantastic watch. I had a really good time with the one I had, and I continue to enjoy the Apex Pro. And with the new hardware, you get that Stryd support, you get the running power on your wrist. Good stuff. Let's take another one. My dog is so loud right now. Can you guys hear that? So no navigation on this watch. Zero navigation on the Pace 2, unfortunately. That's something I was hoping for, but I get why they had to leave it out. I don't know if that was a hardware limitation, but it's $200 watch. So you can't get everything on a $200 watch. Looking for an update to my Vivo Sport. This might be it. Yeah, that could be a good step up for a lot of people. Yeah, I'd say check it out, especially at the price point. You can't beat that. Bass Baker says it's worse than the Fenix in Forerunner logically. Yeah, like I said, it depends what you're doing, right? If you're a track athlete, the Pace 2 might be a better fit for you, because it's lighter and it's just for that job. You know, it's really just for running. Whereas the Fenix 6 and the 945 are really multi-sport, do everything, climb Everest, whatever, right? Where they're not marketing the Pace 2 for that. And it's even the name, Pace, you know, they're for someone who cares about your pace, right? Yeah, Salty Dog, is Stryd subscription based, or it is a one-time purchase? It is a one-time purchase. The sensor is $299. They sent me one a little while ago. I'm still working on a review for this. I'm slacking a little bit, but I'm really enjoying my time with it. It really changes how you look at your training. They've got a lot of great tools on their website, and now you've got support from Coros, and it looks like they're actually releasing some tailored training plans to use with Power and Coros, like tying it all together. So if you're training for like a half marathon or something, you can download a training plan from like an athlete who designed it and then use it for yourself. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, no monthly plan. Just got to buy it once. And they have like a whole interface called Power Center, where you can break down all of your data and see your critical power and all that stuff. Okay, doing a strength training plan that was created doesn't appear to affect the training load and recovery AI trainer. Any thoughts on this? Yeah, I don't think it does. I think the training load and the AI trainer, like the stamina setting or meter in the watch, are purely based on running and cycling or swimming. I don't think that they are correlated to strength training, which is kind of strange, right? Because if you ran a marathon, I don't know if you'd want to go and like lift weights the next day, but I'm not sure they're tied together, unfortunately. Can you build a workout with intervals in the app? Sure can. They make it very easy. And yep, you can. Garmin is a little too complex for me, haha. Yeah, and so I think that's why Coros exists. I think that's what Louis Wu, the president or CEO, I think that kind of was his goal with this, was to design something that was very simple and minimal and just did the job. And I think they succeeded. So a lot of people are turning to Coros because they hate the bloat that comes along with Garmin. I tend to like the bloat because I like the gadgets and widgets and all that stuff, but I could see where people get turned off by that, and they just want something that works, you know. But yeah, so Coros is there, and this at $200, they're gonna sell a few for sure. Oh, good, neighbor's mowing his lawn. Now my dog's crying and the neighbor's mowing his lawn. Could this live feed get any worse? FedEx, lawnmower, dog, jeez. Steven asks, what Garmin do you use normally? I'm wearing currently the Garmin Forerunner 945. This is actually for a video I'm working on right now called 945 in 2020, because I think with all the firmware updates they added to the 945, this became a really compelling option. And other than that, I wear where is it? I have a Fenix 6, which I've been wearing for a very long time. It's an awesome watch. And hopefully Garmin sees what's going on here, and maybe they could think about adding wrist-based power to their watches, because I would like that personally. Will it support hiking? I believe so. I got to assume that they'd include all of the multi-sport activities found on the Apex and the Apex Pro on the Pace 2. So I would expect to see all the same stuff. Swimming, hiking, running, trail running. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. What about the wrist-based heart rate sensor? Is it competitive to the Polar one? This is yet to be determined from me. Like I said, I'm waiting for FedEx to drop mine off. I haven't even tested it out yet. My Apex Pro has gotten a little bit better over time regarding heart rate accuracy. I've done a lot of testing comparing it to Garmin, to Polar. I still find that Polar is doing the best job with the wrist-based heart rate sensor. There are some spikes. They have some weird, like, it jumps sometimes, but overall the sensor remains to be the most accurate, I think. Hope that helps. Oh, Stryd prices are between $199 and $220. I misspoke. I'm sorry about that. You are correct. I blurted out a number that was wrong. Bass Baker says, it's all about your wrists. The OHR can be completely off or quite accurate. You are totally right. People tend to miss all of those variables. So your body fat percentage, the density of your hair, your skin color, how many tattoos you have, can all play a role on how accurate your heart rate sensor on your wrist is, along with how tight you wear your watch. You really need to crank it down. I like to say you shouldn't be able to comfortably get a finger under it. And yeah, so you got to make sure it's tight, and you take it for what it's worth. If you really want to get the best readings, you need to use an external sensor like a chest strap or the OH1 Plus arm strap, or like the Wahoo fitness trackers, or one of those. Those will give you the best. Here's a good one. Is the Coros Pod dead? No, it isn't. So they actually released a beta firmware update for that as well. I also received that, and I've done some testing with that, and they got the metrics on that to be a lot better. But it doesn't give you, so it's weird. Previously, you needed the Coros Pod to get power, running power. Now you're actually getting the running power data from the watch and not from the pod, which is pretty strange. It used to be that you needed the pod, now you need the watch, and the pod is only giving you, you know, your ground contact time and your right balance and all that stuff. So pretty strange. I'm gonna continue testing with my Coros Pod and the new firmware to see what's changed entirely, but yeah, it's not dead. It's just not, I don't think it's as useful. I think if you have $50, I would save it towards a Stryd Pod because it'll give you more data. Would the Stryd Pod work with the old Ambit 3? I don't believe so. I think maybe it does. I'm not sure. Really not sure. But even if it doesn't, you can actually pair it with your phone, so you can get your power data on your phone or an Apple Watch, and use the Ambit for just the GPS data if you wanted to do that. I'm not really familiar. I don't know if it'll work with that one. Oh, here's a good one. Is the Pace 2 the best entry-level watch for ultras? Woo, that's a bold question. I don't know. It's looking like it, that's for sure. The thing is, the Pace still has 30-hour in battery life, so that's enough for most ultras. There are watches out there, you know, the Apex Pro gets 40 hours. So if you're doing something crazy long, or 100+ miler, 200 miler, one of those, maybe there might be a better watch. But in terms of everything else, for $200, I would get a Pace 2 over like a Garmin 245 if you didn't care so much about all of the metrics you get from the 245, like the VO2 max, and all that stuff. So yeah, in that price bracket, I'd say it probably is. Again, I need to do testing on it. I know like DC Rainmaker and all those 5K Runner, they've all done testing with it already. It's up on their websites. I wish I had that privilege, but mine came a little late. So no, I think it will be, but I want to do my own testing to make sure that it meets my needs. As an ultra runner, those guys aren't really like ultra runners specifically, they're athletes, but ultra runners have a very unique set of features that you really like to have. For me, lack of navigation is a non-starter. I know a lot of people don't use the mapping, but at least having some level of like breadcrumb trails, like on the Instinct Solar I just reviewed, that can even follow a track. And that's a really primitive, simple watch, but it is $200 more than the Pace 2. So something to think about. Guess I'll just keep doing these, and then hopefully my box shows up and we can unbox it together. I tell you what, if it doesn't show up, I will record a video today and I will post it either tonight or tomorrow. I'll try to get it out as a first impression slash... my phone buzzed and I thought it was the FedEx delivery guy. No dice. Not yet. So still waiting. So I'm torn between the 945 and Fenix 6. Looking forward to the video. Wrist-based power would be amazing though. The 945, looking forward to that video. So I actually do have a 945 versus Fenix 6, and I'm working on a new one comparing the 945 versus the Fenix 6 in 2020, because the 945 has released a bunch of firmware updates that almost make it exactly a Fenix 6, just in a plastic body. But there still is some differences, but the divide isn't as big as it used to be before this firmware update. So firmware 5.0 came for the 945 and it made it a lot better. So I'm pretty happy with that, and that's why I'm wearing it right now. I'm still in the testing process and filming that video. So that should be coming in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe down below, everybody. I appreciate it. Hi from Italy. Hello from America. Thanks for watching. Do you think there will be a successor to the Polar Vantage? Yeah, I do. I think there will be, and I don't know when it's coming. I do have somewhat of a relationship with Polar now, so I'm hoping I'll be one of the first to see whatever they have coming out next. So I am looking forward to that. I really like what they're doing. They're definitely trying to push their brand and push technology, so it's exciting to see what's coming next. Dimitri Bondar says possible 945 September 8th. Really? That would be... I'd be a little shocked if they did that. Or maybe an announcement. I would be a little surprised, but maybe. And, maybe then I'll have to swap out my 945 with a 955. I'm not even sure what I want to see on the 955, because the 945 does so much already. Like maybe a little bit better battery life, maybe the bigger screen from the Fenix 6, maybe a solar panel on there. I like the idea of the LTE rumor that's been floating around. But all that said, I don't know. Like, I'm excited. Hopefully they do something this fall or in the next couple of weeks if September 8th is true. I'm thinking about replacing my 935. Do you think this is a good option? Does it work with Stryd? And does it work with Stryd? So yeah, To answer the second part of that question, the Stryd support is there. The Pace 2, one of their biggest thing is the Stryd support. It's native Stryd, so you get all of the metrics built into the watch, no external application needed. Goes right into your fit file, and you can sync that with Training Peaks or Strava or even to Stryd, the Stryd platform. It works great. Replacing the 935 is another question. Depends what you use in the 935. If you're into like the training metrics, VO2 max, your load, I still think Garmin does that stuff better. Coros is getting better, but like whenever I use a new Coros device, like right now my Garmin says I have like a VO2 max of like 56 or 57, and then Coros says 49. And like, I'm not an elite athlete, okay? I get that. I'm like the middle of the pack, maybe a little head of middle of the pack, but I know I'm not in like the 40s, so I don't know why the Coros application is always like so wildly off. Sometimes it'll even go way high, like 50s or 60s, and then it'll plummet the next week. And I don't think my VO2 max is changing that rapidly. So I don't think Garmin is perfect either. Like obviously you want to go to a lab if you're doing any of that stuff. Oh my God, it's here. Guys, the watch is here. My wife just threw it in the door. We got the watch, hang on. It's official. I have the Pace 2. Oh, don't want to show my mailing address. So I have the Pace 2. We're going to unbox it now. Wow. Good thing I streamed for 32 minutes before the watch showed up, huh? Okay, let me just crack open the external box so we can... let's get this question off the screen. Sorry, guys. Your questions are awesome, but I want to look at this watch. I haven't even seen it yet. Here we go. Timing has arrived. Let me get the box. Okay. Top-down view. Are you ready? Are you ready? I am. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull it out of the bag. What color did they give me? You guys are learning this with me. Oh, we got the black one. Good. Although I was kind of okay with the white one. You know, I don't really have a white watch, so that would have been kind of cool. So we've got the black Coros Pace 2 here. Got a little peely sticker thingy on the side. Okay, get that. Oh, you know, I was hoping for a big reveal there, but no reveal yet. There's one more layer. Oh geez, I almost threw it on the table. Get that out of the way. All right, there she is. There's the Coros Pace 2. We've got the documentation. I don't really care about all that, although we did get a nice Coros sticker. That's cool. I don't know if they gave those away in the other boxes. If they did, comment over in the chat. I'm curious. All right, so the Pace 2... Yeah, wow, this thing is light. This is super light. So should I do this with the microphone? People do that, right? Did you hear that? Okay, so we've got the Pace 2 here. Let me see if it's got any juice so we can look at what it does. Yeah, there it is. It's booting up. English. See, you guys are going to have to walk through the pairing process with me. Please hold. I got to pair it. Is this good content? This is why we edit videos. This is why not every video is live. I'm pretty fast at pairing now, so hopefully it goes quick. Add new device. Oh no. So Pace 2 isn't on my, you know, like, oh, there it goes. You know how it asks you what device you have and what device you want to pair? For whatever reason, Pace 2 isn't on there yet, so I just selected Pace. Still worked, I think. So there we go, we're pairing. Check mark on the watch, and we're in. Next. Do you want this to be your preferred fitness tracker? Sure. Left hand. Okay. We don't care. We don't care about that stuff, right? Let's put that down. back to the watch. Okay, so we've got the Pace 2 here. We're at the home screen. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you guys get up close and personal with this. There we go. All right, so we've got the digital knob here, which is cool. Previously, the original Pace didn't have that knob. It just had the buttons, the 5-button layout. Now we've got the digital knob here, and we've also got that dependent back button here. So if we swipe, there we go. We've got our My Day widget with your steps, your stairs climbed. You've got your heart rate widget. This is basically the exact same thing that you see on all of the other watches. You've got your elevation, which is completely wrong because I haven't synced with the GPS yet. We've got our barometer, so there's that. And then we've got our temperature, which is 92 degrees. It's really hot here, and I had to turn my air conditioner off for this video because you can hear it in the microphone, so bear with me as I sweat. Okay, and then we go down. We've got our sunrise widget. We need a GPS fix for that to work, and then we've got our home screen. So that's kind of a cool watch face. I like how they have like particular watch faces for each device, and they have additional ones in the app if you want to download more. So if we go into our running, our activity menu here, you can see run, indoor run, track run, bike, indoor swim, pool swim, open water, triathlon, strength training, gym cardio, GPS cardio training, AI trainer. So there are a few things missing here. Strength. Let's see. Did we see hike? That was a question. I don't see hike, guys. So yeah, no hiking. That's unfortunate. So you've got run, indoor run, track run. Wait, is trail run in here? There's no trail run. Wow, come on, that's kind of silly. I find that a little bit annoying. Like now, if you want to use this in a trail running capacity, you're going to have to use it in the run activity and then go back in Strava and then switch it over to trail run. And also, I thought that only runs, like using the run activity, affected your VO2 max. And that's why it was important to use trail run only for trail running and running for road running. Now, if there's no trail running, does that mean all running is going to count towards your VO2 max in the app? It's kind of a weird one. I don't know. Anyways, let's look a little bit further at this. I don't know why my skin looks purple now. There we go, white balance. Yeah, so if we go to run, yeah, no trail run activity, Ryan, for real. So we've got interval training here. That's cool. Let's go and hit start activity, just see what we get on the data screens here. So typical data screens. Yeah. And I'm sure this can all be customized. Just stop the lap there. Finish. Delete. Okay, so there's the watch. Let's get a better view of all the features here. I'll give you a size comparison too. I'll put like all of them. I have a whole bunch of watches we can look at next to it. So what's interesting, I thought they said this came with a nylon band, unless I'm missing something. There's no nylon band on the watch itself. So let me dig a little deeper in the box. Let's see. Is there a nylon band in here? Zoom out, Dave. There we go. Zoom in, Dave. Not all the other. You don't need your tripod in the shot. No. So we got our charging cable here, and what's that? There's some little. Oh, weird. That's bizarre. They actually include. You know. I don't know how many people know about these, but a lot of people who own like Garmin Fenixes use these little plugs in their charging port. I always thought that they were a bad thing. Like they could, so the idea of the plug is to protect your charging port from like dust or rain or water or whatever, to keep it from getting dirty. But I always thought if you put a cover on it, like water still got in there, but instead of draining out, it just got trapped in there. And I always thought that would like corrode the pins a little bit quicker. I've never had an issue with charging pins corroding, so I never used them. But Coros, for whatever reason, decided to include those little plugs in the box with the Pace 2. These do not come in the box with the other watches, and that makes me question if maybe there's some sort of water resistance thing with the charging port. I don't know. Kind of weird. Anyways, there's no nylon band in this box, so that's kind of a bummer. So this is a silicone strap, and don't get me wrong, this is really nice. It's very stretchy. It's really really stretchy, actually. It's very soft, and I think these holes are in for the sake of weight. You know what? Let's go ahead and weigh it. I got my scale right here. And by right here, I mean under my desk. Let's get the scale. There it is. Gram scale. So they say it's 29 grams. I mean, it feels really light. I don't know if it is really light. Ounces. Grams. There we go. Got to set it for grams. Put our watch on there. I don't know. Look at that number, guys. That ain't 29 grams. That's 36 grams. You know, it's probably because of that strap, I would guess. But yeah, not 29 grams. That's 36 grams. Still very, very light. They say it's the lightest GPS watch on the market. But yeah, I don't know if it is. So let's compare it with some of my other watches here. We've got the Forerunner 945. Here we go. We've got the Apex Pace 2 here. We've got the Apex Pro here. And what else we got? We've got the here's the Grit X that, you know, next to all these watches kind of looks like a monster. And then I've got the Fenix 6 here. And one more. Won't fit in the shot, but we'll do it anyways. We've got the Instinct Solar here. So Instinct Solar, Grit X, Forerunner 945, Pace 2, the one we're talking about in this video, the Apex Pro, and then we've got the Fenix 6. And as you can see, I mean, that's definitely the smallest of the bunch. It's also the thinnest. I don't know if I could do like a sandwich of... It's getting kind of ridiculous. Why am I on YouTube doing this? It's because you guys care, and it's for science, right? All right, so there we go. That's like the sandwich shot. So the Apex, the Pace 2 is definitely the smallest of the bunch by a long shot. Right there again. And one thing I've noticed on the Pace 2 now that I've been looking at it for a little while is the heart rate sensor is the older style. So this isn't the updated heart rate sensor that was on the Apex Pro or the Vertix, or even the Apex for that matter. This is one of the older models. So I'm interested to see the performance of the heart rate accuracy on this. I have had bad experiences with the Coros devices, but they've gotten better over time. So we'll definitely find out. And yeah, so this is just kind of like a first look live thing. And let's look at some of the comments. I've been trying not to look over here and read while I'm talking to the camera. It's bad practice. So Matt LeGrand, I think the Garmin 955 update was coming early next year. You might be right, Matt. I'm not totally sure on that. Let's look for some questions regarding the Pace 2. Ryan Clayton, hey buddy. Go check out Ryan's channel if you haven't yet. So wow, no trail running activity. You are right. I thought I was like seeing things, but let me look again. Track run, bike, indoor. Yeah, there's no trail run on here. That bugs me. Like as a trail runner, why couldn't you? It's just a copy of the run activity with, that's it. There's really nothing different. Other than like maybe you don't want to do the power, like look at running power when you're on like a real rugged trail, because it might not be applicable, but still. Bass Baker says, for me, lightweight feels cheap. I kind of agree, but I also disagree to some extent, because the Fenix 6 is built like a tank, and it certainly feels that way. But, you know, like the Forerunner 945, I feel like is a great balance. It's 50 grams rather than, you know, 70 or 90 or whatever. So 50 grams feels good to me. 50 versus 30, what did I say, 36? You know, it's a minimal difference, but I will say that the size difference of the Pace 2 is pretty noticeable even against the 945, which I thought was pretty small to begin with. Yeah, so, you know, pretty small device, but yeah, it's strange to see no trail running activity. Let's see. Ryan Clayton, the Vertix strap is really stretchy too. Pretty nice feature. Yeah, I noticed that with all of their watches. Even the Apex Pro, like, feels like a rubber band. It can really, like, you can really stretch it out. And I like that because I've actually ripped some of the, you know, like when the tooth engages here in the clasp, I've actually ripped the Fenix 6 band a couple of times, like catching it on a branch or something. So having a little stretch in there is a nice feature. Bass Baker, without the strap weight, let me look at how hard it is to get the strap off. Not hard. Let's go ahead. So yeah, let's look at that. We've got the Pace 2 here again, and then I'm gonna flip it over. So it does have that quick release band. So the band just pops off like that. Pretty nice. And then I'll get my scale one more time. Let's get that in the shot. It is 23 grams without the strap. So I got to assume they meant with the nylon strap and not with the silicone strap. Hope that helps. Let's see if I can reconstruct this strap while also conducting a live stream. Maybe I just won't talk and I'll do this for a second. You know, these quick release bands that aren't like the Garmin quick fit bands, they work, but man, do I like Garmin's quick fit system a lot better. Even like the Vertix has it too. Just so much easier to get the pins in there. Okay, yeah, we're back in action. We've got a watch again. So yeah, it's 23 grams with the nylon strap. Eric Sisk says, "This is great, Dylan. Thanks." Yeah, my name's Dave, but you're welcome. Thank you for watching. It's the same charger as Garmin. Yeah, so the charger is not the same as the Garmin chargers. It looks very similar. I can get a Garmin over here so we can compare it. Here's the Fenix 6 and the Pace 2 here. So you can see that the Garmin actually has 4 pins where the Pace 2 has 3 pins. And this is the same charger they use for all of their watches in the Coros lineup, except for the original Pace that has like a dedicated cradle. Now, it's important to note these aren't the same. In the Garmin one's different because it actually transfers data, and this is only for charging. So you can't plug this into a computer and like read the data off it, where the Garmin like acts as a little hard drive when you plug it in. That's the difference. Can you add trail run in the app? Wow, that's a great question. Let's take a look, huh? So let me finish. I never walked through the whole pairing process because I did this while I was on the air with you guys. Done. Let's share my phone screen again. If it's still there. Are you still there, phone? There it is. Wow. We're getting there. Pace 2 has a firmware update, so that's good news. Let's see what's involved in the firmware update. Bug fixes. Public beta. So workout data. Yeah, so I don't think you can. Workout data. Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can add to it. That is unfortunate. You know, I really wanted to see trail running in there. So yeah. No trail running app, and I don't think you can add it. Hopefully, if Coros hears our cries, they'll they'll add it in the future, because it's definitely not a hardware limitation. You can just copy and paste run and call it trail run. That wouldn't be that difficult. But I mean, I get why they left out, like, you know, Expedition or Alpine Climber, all that other stuff you see on the Vertix and the Apex Pro, because this isn't a watch designed for that. But running is also trail running, right? Like, even if you're just on a gravel path, that's a trail run, and you shouldn't have to use run for that. So yeah. Tried the nylon bands from Coros. Also, how is there still no Find My Phone in Coros? Man, such a small feature and so handy with the Apple Watch. I totally agree. I use that on my Garmin all the time. I use Find My Phone, and vice versa. You can actually find the watch with your phone on the Garmin stuff. But yeah, Coros hasn't done that yet. No one else, I don't think anyone else has done that yet, which is kind of frustrating, because it's such a simple feature. All you got to do is make my phone buzz or make the watch buzz. I don't get it. I haven't tried the nylon bands from Coros. I hope I can get a couple for the Pace 2 for my testing. That's to come. Again, this isn't a full in-depth review. Simply just open the box in front of you guys, and I'm learning just like you are. So we're doing this together. I will be doing a whole bunch of testing. I'll be comparing this with all my other watches, with heart rate, with running power, with all that data. And then we're going to have another video rolling out hopefully next week, maybe earlier, if I can get enough running in. I'm supposed to be running right now, but I'm spending it with you guys. But yeah, I haven't tried the nylon bands yet. Hopefully I'll get some. What watches will compete the most with the Pace 2? This is a tricky question, actually, because if we're talking like price point wise, we're looking at like some of the really low end Garmins, like the Garmin, was it the 45, the 245, maybe the Vivo Active. Yeah, so at the price point, it's got to be kind of a, you know, leading the charge. But again, I got to do more testing, and I got to just learn more about what it's capable of recording, because I haven't even run with it yet. So there'll be more to come on that. And I'll in that video, I'll definitely touch base on what it competes with directly. Excited to see what the heart rate sensor data looks like compared to a chest strap once you've gone on a few runs. Me too. The heart rate sensor looks really tiny, if you look there. And when you compare that to something like the Grit X, right? Or this is the Polar Unite, but it's the same kind of sensor. You've got like a ton of LEDs over here that are illuminating the skin, whereas you've got just 2 LEDs here, and then it looks like 1 receiver. And it's just hard to say that how this could be better than this. But who knows? I could be proven wrong. It could be software. That's really, you know, it's really up for testing. So I'll be definitely doing a comparison with the heart rate, the power, of course, GPS accuracy, all that stuff. So that'll be coming soon. Display quality. I actually have my notes here, so let me check that. I mean, just visually, without reading the specs, it looks pretty good. One thing I did have an issue with, you know what, we can look at it. If I turn some of these lights off, you can see. Let's check the backlight compared to my other watches. There we go. Getting nice and dark in here. So the backlight on my Coros Apex Pro, get that above your question so you can actually see what's going on here. Get the Stryd Pod out of the way. And then we'll get some of the competition in here. So we've got put the Pace 2 on the end here. We've got the Pace 2, we've got the Polar Grit X, the Coros Apex Pro, and Garmin Fenix 6. That is, of course, off. I'll turn that on. You know what? Let's swap that out for the 945, because that is on. So my problem with the Apex Pro was the backlight. If you look at that backlight, it's a bit washed out. It's very low contrast. Like the whole, like even the blacks illuminate. It's not just the whites. Whereas if you look at the let me get into the data screen here. So if you look at the 409/45, it almost looks like an LED screen. It's very, very contrasty. Oh, thinks I'm going for a run. And then even like the Polar Grit X here is very high contrast. And then let's take a look at this guy. So again, pretty washed out. I think it's the same kind of LCD LED they're using on the Apex Pro. So when the light is off, let's do that a little closer so you can get a better look. You see that? Can you see how it's a little bluey? And then you look at something like the Forerunner 945, and that's just like super crisp. So that's one minor annoyance I have with some of the Coros watches. But generally, with the lights on or sunlight, like if you turn that light back on, they all look pretty good, and this is no exception. It's got pretty good colors. You see the screen has like a red accent on the watch face. It looks pretty good. And it's responsive. One thing they put in the notes is that the Coros Pace 2 is actually doing certain things. Let me delete that. There we go. Okay, there we go. Get these watches out of the way. So we got a couple other questions here. I'm not going to go past an hour with this stream. Well, maybe I will if you guys keep talking, but we'll see. Let's look at the next question. Timothy Petit, what's the glass durability on the watch? So this is Gorilla Glass. Just like a smartphone, it will scratch, so it's scratch resistant. Definitely not scratch proof. You're going to have to be a little more careful with it. What's interesting, I think the Apex Pro, and Vertix are all sapphire, but again, they're more expensive watches. You cannot expect sapphire on a $200 watch. And on a $200 watch, it's less important, where it's a bit more disposable. You don't like to use that word, but if you were to scratch it, you're not going to be like as heartbroken as you would be as if you scratched a Fenix 6 that cost $1,000 or whatever. So I don't blame them for that choice, but I would say the durability is probably as durable as an iPhone. So you got to be careful with it. And I'm sure screen protectors will start popping up on Amazon, and you'll be able to pick them up there. So I actually use a screen protector on my 945, if you've noticed, and it's very hard to see. Like, it's perfectly sized, so you don't really see the screen protector. So yeah, having Gorilla Glass isn't like a showstopper for me, but it is something to consider. Looks like this is going hard after the 45, the Forerunner 45. I agree. In a lot of ways, this is way better than the 45. Especially in terms of battery life, the 45 can't even compete, even remotely. I think it has like 12 or 14 hours in GPS mode. So yeah, almost a no contest there. But again, I'll have to do more testing with it. Maybe I can do a comparison down the road. Oh, here we go. We got a comment suggesting how to add trail running. Let's go into the app and we click on customization. Workout menu. So let me show you this. I'll bring my phone screen up. So as you can see here, there's no hidden workout modes here. There's no trail running. You can't even add it in the customization menu. So it's something they intentionally left out, and that seems to be what it is. What's odd is they have triathlon in there. So, you could use it as a triathlon watch, but like, why not have, you got run, indoor run, track run. You couldn't have added trail run. Come on, Coros. Again, this is beta firmware. Maybe there's an update. There actually is an update. Maybe I should update it, but I'm not going to update it on the air because that takes a bit of time. I tell you what, though, I will cover this in more detail in the full review when it comes out soon. Okay. Yeah, again, Hugo, check the device tab in the customization menu. There is no trail run app even in there. But yeah, thanks for your comment. Thanks for the suggestion. Appreciate it. Let's go. Matt LeGrand. How's it going, man? Go check out his channel too. Maybe the most competitive to the 725 from Garmin, which is also due for an update. Yeah, that could be. I think I would pick the Pace 2. I mean, as long as it meets my expectations in testing, I think I would still go with the Pace 2 over the 725 XT. But That was a great watch as well. I really like light watches, and that's what's really impressive to me. Like, this feels, I feel like I'm wearing nothing. I'm a Fenix 6 wearer, so putting this thing on is like, it feels like a joke. This is weird. I can't wear, I don't even know if I can wear a watch this light. I honestly feel like, no, I don't want to say that I'm not judging it in a negative way here, but it feels like a toy a bit when I'm wearing it. It feels like I put on my kids like Ninja Turtles watch or something. It's just so, there's nothing there. I can almost just, I don't even notice it there. So probably going to be really nice to sleep with and like as an everyday kind of watch, and you know, it just gets out of your way. But yeah, it doesn't feel premium. It doesn't feel like you bought a really expensive watch, and you didn't. You bought a $200 watch, so something to consider. They definitely had to make some compromises to get to that price point, and the build quality, while it's not terrible, it is very plasticky feeling. Still not a bad thing, and it lends itself to being light. Is the watch face plastic or glass? It is a Gorilla Glass, so like what you have on your cell phone. Someone said to try a white background for better contrast and visibility. Yeah, I could probably do that. Workout interface. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that now. I don't think you guys want to watch me scroll through menus on the watch. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to end it. Thanks for watching. This was an interesting experiment. I'm so happy the FedEx guy showed up. If you're watching the end of this video, the first 30 minutes was me waiting for the FedEx guy to show up. So if you want to see some real compelling content, rewind and watch it all over again, because boy, was it entertaining. I've got a lot coming up, man. I've got reviews. I'm like overwhelmed with the amount of stuff in the studio right now that I need to look at and review. I've got like piles of stuff everywhere, and I'm writing and planning to do a whole bunch of reviews that are coming up, including the Pace 2. This is a top priority right now. So definitely hit that subscribe button down below. It means a lot to me. Give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out.